What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here, coming at you today with another episode of Does It Suck? The show where we take a deep dive look at a new game and see what's good or bad about it. This time we're going to be investigating the newly introduced game Splitgate, because this has a lot of very interesting advertising around it. A lot of people keep saying that this is going to be a combination of Halo and Portal, and as somebody who actually grew up playing in Halo tournaments and absolutely adores the quirky physics of Portal, this seems like a killer combination and something that obviously I was very curious about. So over this weekend they had a giant open beta where anybody who wanted and was available was able to just jump in here and play every bit of the game. It seems like it has every map, every weapon, everything completely accessible, so I decided to play a load of it. And it kind of struck me that it really manages to replicate the magic of Halo and Portal together. I mean, it's kind of mind-blowing to see a game that has such a massive goal in mind that it actually manages to achieve. But with that being said, it's certainly not perfect. So let's begin by just analyzing this game as a whole. So first and foremost, this is a multiplayer-only game. As far as I can tell, there will never be any sort of story in it. It doesn't seem like there's bots. It is simply you versus other players in some pretty interesting little maps. But what's really supposed to get you addicted to it is obviously this multiplayer. I mean, the only reason you're going to be playing it is for extremely quick action. So if you've never played a bunch of Halo, the main thing you need to keep in mind is that the time to kill is exceedingly low. Just a couple good shots can easily put down a target, but quick aim is king. You need to be able to react instantly to every bit of stimulation coming into your eyes. I mean, this game is all about twitch reflexes. If you are able to snap to a target and shoot them, you can drop them instantly, but this does require an immense amount of practice. I mean, I'll just admit this, the first couple hours I was playing the game, I did have some troubles, even as somebody who is very adapted to this style of pacing, because it did take me some practice just to simply get good at jumping and dodging and ducking and basically trying to avoid being shot as I line up my aim. The big twist here that tries to make all this feel much more multifaceted though is of course the portals themselves. So currently this game is only on PC, and they have said that it's going to be on consoles in the future, but let me explain the PC buttons for right now. So basically, obviously you're going to be moving around with W, S, A, and D, but basically the additional buttons you have are Q and E, which are basically for opening your entrance and exit portals. So while you're running around shooting people with just your normal mouse controls, you can additionally throw out all these different exits and entrance portals. But what you need to try and practice at is not just thinking about these offensively, you can actually think about them defensively. So basically, you can see through your own portal. Once you make one of these giant magic gates, you can teleport to any of these flat, basically light blue surfaces. So you can put them at the top of the level and jump up to the secret super weapons, or maybe you can use the physics to jump off a cliff, throw a portal below you, and then shoot out a giant gap up at the top and fly all the way across the map. Now you can also use this as really creative ways, like if people are chasing you down, you can actually throw portals up behind you to basically try and trick them into thinking you moved, or maybe jump through a portal and make it where they have to track and jump through after you and you can ambush them. Now this is super cool, and I think that the highest skill level players are going to find continually new and really great ways to use this, but it certainly is something that I've noticed a lot of players just flat out ignore. These tactics of constantly trying to open gates and jump around the map is something that some people completely avoid and just worry about shooting people. I mean, it's possible, as far as I can tell, to completely ignore the split gate concept. I mean, you can just treat this like a shooter, and unfortunately some people do. Like, some of the more advanced things I've seen people do, and I've tried it myself, is you can actually like hide in the corner of a map, put a portal all the way at the top of like a nearby building, and then put a portal in front of you, and actually aim your gun through it. Like, just put the barrel of your sniper rifle through it and start scoping people out. So you'll be literally at the bottom of the map and the top of the map simultaneously and score some really sweet headshots. But most people just don't bother with this. I'm not sure what it is about the community, but it seems like I bet that they are probably tracking it, and they're probably looking at the numbers and seeing that most players are more concerned with shooting bullets than shooting portals. There is something else about this, though, that I think is part of the reason that people don't use it a bunch, which is that portals can get you killed. So when you're trying to throw these portals up and down, you'll notice that you can see through your own, obviously, but other people can't. And this goes the same way. So basically, if you see somebody and they jump through a portal, to you it's just this flat little gap. Your bullets still can travel through it, though. So a lot of times, in the time it takes you to actually create a portal, sometimes you will get shot. Or even if you manage to slip through the gap in time, usually a couple bullets will follow through and end up hitting you right between the shoulder blades, and at that point, there wasn't really any point in doing such a fancy move. I guess this is kind of my main concern with Splitgate, is that it's not really a problem with the game, it's a problem with the community. I feel like perhaps the game needs some sort of tutorial to further try and instill the ideas of weaponizing your portals, because right now people are just treating this like Halo PC, and there's actually a pretty big reason behind that, which is that this completely replicates the exact feeling of Halo multiplayer. I mean, every single weapon is an exact freaking ripoff. And I hate to use that word, but they have rocket launchers that feel and sound and look exactly like normal rocket launchers with enough tweaks to not get them sued. There's sniper rifles that feel just like sniper rifles. There's plasma rifles that overheat. It is 100% just Halo on computers by a different company. It's essentially just a complete mimic, and I think that that's awesome for me, and as a fan who loves Halo a bunch, but I do think that it ends up having the accidental downside of a lot of people are just treating this like any other arena shooter. They're not really trying to understand the concepts of deeper play, because it seems like they just flat out don't care about it, which to me is a detriment to the game itself. I do honestly have some high hopes for what this game will be like in the long run, and when I was really playing this game the longest and turning on just some really crazy dubstep, which I know most people don't listen to, but I still really love it, and just having these great tunes in my ear and blasting people and using my microphone to trash talk people in a nice, respectful manner, I was having so much fun. This game does stuff that really has a speed and enjoyment that I haven't seen anybody else do in a long time. I'm just hoping that the game comes together and honestly manages to get a big fan base, because if it doesn't, there are going to be some issues. Right now it seems like people are having fun with it, but it still seems like the servers might be a little bit empty. There are some really interesting options for the multiplayer, including custom games that allow you to do stuff like run at 1,000,000% speed, or have it where every gun instantly kills people, and I feel like these options will hopefully bring in an even wider people into the game, but it might be a gamble that doesn't pay off. I guess we'll find out at the end of May, and until then, I guess I'll just try this beta a little bit longer until it closes here in about 5 hours. But what did you think? Have you gotten a chance to play Splitgate, and is it something that actually strikes your fancy, or is this just a little tiny experiment that does not at all appeal to you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. Man, I got some great kills. Thank you to everybody I got a chance to play with, including the streamer Rocky. This guy was actually good, and he really kind of showed me some real good tricks that helped me improve. So seriously, shout out to him. You have a great stream, man. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, you know, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.